Good morning and welcome to Barbaras Bulletin. I'm your host, Barbara. It's great to have you joining us today as we dive into the latest news and developments from around the world. To start off, let's take a look at some of the top stories making headlines in the world of politics and trade. According to reports from the Financial Times, U.S.-China trade talks have stalled, with Scott Bessent commenting on the current state of negotiations. This comes as no surprise, given the ongoing tensions between the two nations. In related news, the courts have reined in President Trump's efforts to impose tariffs, marking a significant development in the ongoing trade saga. We'll be keeping a close eye on this story and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has been counting the cost of his government efficiency blitz, which has sparked both praise and criticism from various quarters. While some argue that his efforts have led to much-needed reforms, others claim that they have resulted in unnecessary disruptions. In other news, artist Jenny Saville has spoken out about the importance of beauty, stating that you always return to beauty in the end. This thought-provoking comment has sparked a lively debate about the role of aesthetics in our lives. We'll also be taking a closer look at the impact of Trump's tariffs on the U.S. economy and the potential consequences for American businesses. With so many different perspectives on this issue, it's essential to approach the topic with a fair and balanced mindset. As we continue to navigate these complex and often conflicting stories, one thing is clear. The world of politics and trade is constantly evolving, and that's why we're here to bring you the latest news and analysis every day on Barbaras Bulletin. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbaras Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbaras Bulletin. We're glad you're still with us as we dive into our middle segment. Today, we're exploring a developing story that's making waves in the world of education and international relations. The United States government has announced plans to aggressively revoke visas for Chinese students, citing security concerns and ties to the Chinese Communist. Now, this move has sparked a heated debate, with some arguing that it's necessary to protect national security, while others claim it's an overly broad policy that could harm innocent students and damage relations between the two countries. Let's take a closer look at the story. The history of Chinese students in America is long and complex, dating back to the 1850s. In recent decades, however, the number of Chinese students in the U.S. has swelled to hundreds of thousands annually. Many of these students have made significant contributions to American academia, business, science, and technology. But with rising tensions between the U.S. and China, the Trump administration has taken a tougher stance on Chinese students, citing concerns about intellectual property theft, espionage, and other security risks. The new policy aims to identify and revoke visas for students who are deemed to be a threat to national security. However, critics argue that this policy is too broad and could unfairly target innocent students. They point out that many Chinese students are simply seeking educational opportunities and have no intention of engaging in nefarious activities. Moreover, they argue that the policy could harm American universities and businesses that rely on international talent and collaboration. It's also worth noting that China has its own policies and restrictions on American students and scholars, which some see as a form of retaliation. The U.S.-China Education Trust reports that the number of American scholars studying in China has fallen significantly in recent years, from around 11,000 in 2019 to fewer than 1,000 in 2024. As this story continues to unfold, it's clear that there are valid concerns on both sides. While national security is a legitimate concern, it's also important to ensure that policies are fair, nuanced, and don't unfairly target innocent individuals. We'll be keeping a close eye on this developing story and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the U.S. government's plan to revoke visas for Chinese students? Do you think it's a necessary measure or an overly broad policy? Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Barbaras Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbaras Bulletin. I'm your host, Barbara Waters. As we close out today's episode, we're going to take a look at some breaking news that's been making waves in the world of trade policy. This is Barbara Waters reporting. According to reliable sources, President Trump's signature trade policy has hit a series of hurdles in the courts, with multiple panels seeking to block their implementation. The U.S. Court of International Trade declared the levies illegal, and District Judge Rudolph Contreras followed suit, blocking the bulk of the tariffs. To the best of our knowledge, this ruling is a significant setback for the Trump administration's trade agenda. However, it's essential to note that the court ruling doesn't apply to product-specific tariffs, such as those on steel, aluminum, vehicles, and other products still being discussed. Based on the information available, it appears that while the recent court ruling may have chipped away at Trump's negotiating hand, he still has other trade levers to pull to enact his tariffs. As we've seen in the past, the Trump administration has been willing to use executive power to push through its policy initiatives, even in the face of opposition from the courts and Congress. As we delve deeper into this story, it's crucial to consider the broader implications of these trade policies on the global economy. The tariffs imposed by the Trump administration have been a major point of contention with trading partners, including China, Canada, and the European Union. According to experts, the uncertainty surrounding these trade policies has already had a significant impact on businesses and investors, who are hesitant to make long-term commitments in the face of potential tariffs and trade wars. As we move forward, it's essential to keep a close eye on how these policies evolve and how they affect the global economy. In conclusion, the court ruling on Trump's tariffs is a complex issue with far-reaching implications. While it's unclear how this will all play out, one thing is certain. The trade landscape is changing rapidly, and we need to stay informed to navigate these changes effectively. That's all for today's Barbaras Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay engaged. We'll be back with more news and an analysis after the break. Good evening from our newsroom.